What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and today I'm going to be talking about the new Judd Apatow film, The King of Staten Island, so let's get right into it. Essentially, this movie acts as a loose retelling of Pete Davidson's true life story, as he himself lost his dad in a fire in 9/11. And in the movie, his character Scott loses his father, who is also a firefighter, at a young age. Before I go too deep into this movie, I just want to say I've only seen one Judd Apatow movie before this, and that's The 40-Year-Old Virgin, and I find enjoyment with that movie. I think that it's pretty funny. It's not one of my favorite comedies, so going into this, I had moderate expectations because I am a pretty big Pete Davidson fan. I think that he's hilarious on SNL, probably like the best working cast member on there today, and I've seen some of his other stuff, so I do like the guy a lot. I was excited to see him take on a lead role in this movie, and teaming up with Judd Apatow was kind of a big deal. And of course, it's got a great cast that helps Pete Davidson. There is Marissa Tomei playing his mother, and then there's the character of Ray, played by Bill Burr, who gets intertwined in this relationship. So I'll go ahead and start with everything that I liked about this movie. I mean, first off, it's funny. There's some really great moments of comedy, especially with the character of Scott and his group of friends when they're just hanging out in the basement or cracking jokes. They're kind of like stoners, so they say some really funny things, but of course you get to see Pete Davidson bring that SNL charm in a way where he gets to be kind of the goofy guy, and he has his moments of dark humor that kind of work for me. But aside from the comedy, I mean, there's a real dramatic tension here in this movie, especially like in the second act. There's this sequence that I was like, wow, is this the same movie? Because it felt so out of place in a way. In a good way, though. It was a really intense sequence, and that's something that Judd Apatow, from what I've seen, is always good at. He has comedy, and then he switches abruptly between drama and comedy, and then he ultimately ends up blending them together, and I think that The King of Staten Island is a prime example of Apatow's work. Another great aspect of this movie is how it's just got a lot of heart. You really feel for the character of Scott, as he has a troubled past and he's got some issues going on that he has to deal with. It's really deep stuff that I think can resonate with a lot of people. We've all suffered through loss, and it's just a part of human life that we have to deal with, and this movie really does touch on that in a heartfelt way. Of course, like I said, it blends the drama and the comedy. The relationship between Scott and his sister is great in this movie. I think that it deals with the idea of a family member going off to college for the first time, leaving someone at home, and seeing how that can really change the family dynamic, because that is something that we all will probably go through at some point in our lives. Steve Buscemi is even really funny in the role that he has. He's kind of set in his ways, but you see him change throughout the movie and kind of act as a mentor in a way to Pete Davidson's character. He really has some great stories to tell, and I really did love his character. I wish we got to see more Steve Buscemi in movies nowadays. And while I enjoyed the dramedy aspects of this film, I did take a little bit of an issue with the film's runtime. It comes in at 2 hours and 17 minutes, and anytime there's like a comedy-based movie that goes over 2 hours, I start to lose a little bit of interest, and that's not fully the case here because I was engaged from start to finish, but it really did just start to drag during the middle to third act for me because I really just wanted more. Like I thought something bigger was going to happen, and of course it's just a story about Pete Davidson's life essentially. So seeing the family interactions I expect, and seeing a character arc become fulfilled throughout the film as someone has to go through change is an essential part of this movie. But I just thought there would be a little more like dramatic stakes in a way. Like there was a scene, like I mentioned earlier, in the second act that like really did have me on the edge of my seat, and I thought we might get one or two more of those later on, and in a way we kind of did, but I don't know, I guess I just wanted a little more out of it. As far as rewatchability goes, I'm not sure how often I'm going to want to go back and visit this one, just because like I said, it's on the long side for a comedy slash drama, and while I do adore Pete Davidson, I think he's great in this movie, I don't know if it's one of those movies that I'm going to want to pop in all the time. So Judd Apatow does a great job touching on ideas of family and essentially finding oneself and really having that passion and just going for it despite what people think. In a weird way, it feels kind of like a coming-of-age movie. At the same time, it's the comedy drama. Like, Judd Apatow is the master of blending these different genres. And of course, the soundtrack to this movie is phenomenal. There's a song by CCR that was great, and of course, The Pursuit of Happiness is in here, as well as One Headlight. And when the credits rolled, I really did have a smile on my face because I think that what this movie's going for, it hits home perfectly on the message that we have to reach out of our comfort zone every now and then and explore some new ideas and really just become comfortable with the way that life goes, because life is never stagnant, things are always changing, and I think that the message this movie delivers is perfect. So in the end, I'm going to give The King of Staten Island an 8 out of 10. It could go up on rewatch, who knows, but as of now, I think that it's a very heartfelt dramedy that Judd Apatow did a great job, and the cast all around was stellar. So that's going to be a wrap for my quick thoughts on The King of Staten Island. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like this video, comment your thoughts on the movie down below, and if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I'm having a lot of fun doing this, and we're very close to 400 subscribers, so if we could hit that soon, that would be awesome. And while you're at it, comment your favorite Judd Apatow movies down below, and be on the lookout for some more videos coming soon. I've got a big one coming probably tomorrow, so definitely stay tuned for that. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.